Hi, friends. Welcome back to Wish You Love Podcast. I'm Marilyn.
And I'm Jazmine.
And thank you so much for clicking on this episode.
Happy October.
I can't believe it's already October.
I know. It is so crazy. If you tuned into last episode, we were both kind of just like, oh my gosh, we're at the end of September, and it's October, and then, you know, all the fun stuff.
All the holidays, officially. Holiday season.
And then the end of 2024, so.
I know. Yeah, holiday season starts today.
Yes, we hope you guys have, first of all, enjoyed your pumpkin spices, right? And two, are now getting ready for like the pumpkin patches, like all of that. So
I'm going to Oogie Boogie on the 13th of this month, Oogie Boogie Bash, and I still am unsure of like, what am I going to be for Halloween? I really wanted to be Padme from Star Wars, but I really want to do that one right. And like, there's a lot of rules now in Oogie Boogie, so I'm like just unsure like what I want to do. Yeah. But I'm just like thinking. Do you have any thoughts of like so far? Any inklings?
No clue. Definitely a duo like thing with
my fiance.
You always do
duos. Yeah.
But every year we alternate. So like I choose the theme, he chooses another.
Oh, that's nice.
So last year, if you guys remember, Marilyn, you know, I was Barbie, he was Ken.
Oh, that's right.
Definitely my choice. I was like, we are going to be this year.
That was very on brand for last year.
Yeah. So now for this year, I'm kind of just it's his turn, right? Essentially to pick the costume. So I haven't really put much thought into it.
I love that you guys do duo costumes. Anthony will not dress up with me. We're going to Oogie Boogie Bash together, and he's probably just going to wear a regular shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe we can poke him and be like, come on.
Yeah, I don't think so. After the first one, we were Jasmine and Aladdin, and he was so embarrassed, dressed up as Aladdin. He's like, never again. And he was right. He kept his word. He's a man of his word, I will say. He was like, never again. I'm not dressing up for Halloween. And it was only
until
because
you guys have a kid.
That's what he's sad, but I could totally be like, and then I could see him not like, you dress up with them.
Yeah.
But like, also I am so like controlling in that I wouldn't let Angel choose. I would be like, no, I want to be this year. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a pro and con because it's so cute for pictures. But then again, like I like being able to choose like whatever I want to be. And usually like, because I told him, I'm like, I might be Ariel. Like Prince Eric is super easy to be. Like you just wear like jeans. He's like, jeans. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we'll see what he's going to be. But regardless, I'm going to be cute. So
yes. So exciting. I know the one thing I am excited for is definitely celebrating Halloween with like you guys and everyone.
You know what's funny is I said like not too long ago that I'm finally going to enjoy the holidays like Halloween. I was like, dang, I teach on Halloween. I was like, dang, I forgot. Yeah. So I'm teaching on Halloween day, but definitely celebrating together in like, you know, spooky sweet treats. Of course, maybe doing our fall shoe and all that good stuff. Yeah.
And Halloween itself. I am really like looking forward to like all going out, like our my friend group, you guys, and doing that. Yeah. Probably not a party bus, but something spooky similar.
Still. Yeah. Maybe haunted hayride. I heard those are fun. Because I'm scared, but like you're in like a tractor of sorts, so you're not like walking.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. Yeah. But
also, there's this like really nice garden that like you can walk and it's just like vividly beautiful and like spooky, but not actually scary. That's like more my vibe. I'm like not a daredevil, but like cute, scary stuff.
Yeah. That's definitely my vibe too.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe we could do the garden walk.
Yeah.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just wanted to share who are we most grateful for, right? For the month.
Yeah. So usually, like I said in last episode, which by the way, if you haven't tuned in already, make sure you go and tune in. But we have like these fun little openers, right? Opening questions or topics that we like to talk about. And so for this one, yes, similar. Who do we want to wish love to? So that little shout out. I think this is also good for you guys to think and answer. Either feel free to comment or, you know, internally answer, and definitely show that love and send that love over to that person that you are picking. Because it's always important to share that love and to remind people that you wish them that love and what they did or, you know, why.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Marilyn, you want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Yeah. All right. So definitely going to send my love. I wish love to my best friend, Ruda. Ruda, if you're listening to this, I don't have to go too cheesy because I know you don't like it. And I know that you know. But I definitely wish you love, my friend. We actually hit our 10-year anniversary this year. So that's been super special. But I definitely want to wish, my best friend, Ruda, some love. A, because of course, like I said, my best friend, she's been through everything. And B, because this past month and a half, getting engaged and going through these life moments and like her just being there for me and like reminding me like, hey, I'm here if you need anything. And she like spoke to my mom and said like, hey, I'm going to do your makeup for Jazmine's engagement party. Like just really just making it known that she's excited for this new chapter, that she's present and that she's just going through it with me is just so special and so like something that does not go unnoticed. And yeah, I really love my best friend, and I think that she is, again, such a special person in my life and has done a lot of things for me. And yeah, I feel like I can go on and on. I can go on a tangent. I can make it super cheesy, so I'll keep it short. But definitely wishing love to Ruda. And yeah, I hope you have a good October, bestie.
That's sweet. I was going to say for my person, it's one of my best friends too. So I know last month I chose Renee, my best friend, and I love that they actually celebrate their friendship anniversaries. And I was telling Anthony that I haven't talked to Renee about it yet, but I was like, wow, that is so nice that they do that. I never think to celebrate my friendship anniversaries. And I was like, so September is the time where, because we don't know the date. I love that we know the date though, but September is around the time that Renee and I met because it was school. And I think we're going on our 20th year this year. Wow. Something like crazy like that. Like it's like one of those big milestones. And I've been meaning to calculate just to make sure, but it's like a crazy milestone. And I want to like start incorporating, celebrating. I missed it already, but celebrating friendship anniversaries, because especially if they're like a best friend, that's a big person in your life.
Yeah, definitely. But who do you wish love to?
So I wish love to one of my best friends. Her name is Mirabelle. And I wish love to her, and I just thought of her because we had a spooky girls' night the other night where we made cookies, we watched the new Haunted Mansion in my room, we just talked, and we hadn't seen each other for a hot minute just because of life, we get busy. But that's how you know you have a best friend, is when nothing changes at all. There's no like weirdness about it. There's no awkward, like we just pick up right where we left off. And I was telling Anthony, she feels like home, like, and that's what your best friend should feel like. And she feels like home. Like I love hanging out with her. And every time we do, we always make it festive. We always make it fun. We always laugh. I love her laugh. She's always just such a delight to be around. And so it was really nice hanging out with her. And so that's who I want to wish love to. This is her time of year. She loves October. She loves spooky. She loves horror stuff like Nightmare Before Christmas. She's actually going to Salem for October. So this is just her time. So I think it's a perfect time to specifically wish her love. So I love you so much, Mirabelle. And I just appreciate our friendship, and thank you for listening to this, because I'm gonna send you it with a little heart but not say like why I'm sending it to you. But I just love you so much, best friend, and we've really gone through it together, and I just love you. So yeah,
I love that we both chose our best friend. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, if you can think of that person for you, think about like anyone that's around you, and just who is that person that really just you want to wish love to. Maybe it's because they recently did something and that you're really like taking the time to reflect and be like, wow, that really meant a lot. Or like, wow, that was so special. I need to just let them know I wish you love. Like, thank you so much. Or maybe it's someone in your life, like your mom, right? Someone that we maybe don't really take account for every day. Like, oh, well, she cooks for me. She cleans for me. That's all love there too, So whoever that person it might be, make sure you send them love and comment below if you would like to share with us who you wish love to.
Yeah, and for today's episode, Jazmine has the message that she would love to share with you all. So kick it away, Jazmine, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Alrighty, friends. So for today's episode, we're going to talk about a little story time as always, and then just kind of like, I guess, overall finding your vocation and reflecting on the steps that get you there, if that makes sense. As we talked about this season, I am starting to get into my faith as well. And so not every Monday, but every other Monday, so twice a month, I go to these really fun young adult ministry group. It's super cool. We have time to like talk about like a message. Usually we have speakers. Sometimes it's just between us or our really good friend. He's one of the priests at our church. And yeah, it's really good. It's just like a message that we hear, and it's a message that we reflect on. We have question time where we all sit around and we kind of answer for if you feel comfortable, and then go on with the rest of the things that we do. So for one of the meetings that we had one of the sisters join us. She is Caroline Rose, Sister Caroline Rose, had joined us for this. And her discussion was regarding like vocation and like finding that, especially because as a young adult, we all kind of don't really know. Sometimes we're stuck, or sometimes we get pulled into different things or careers that we don't know, like what am I meant to do, like what are my gifts, like where am I supposed to be. And it really made me, listening to her talk and listening to her give all of those really insightful like tips and just like the message she was sharing, I really wanted to bring it here today to share with you guys, because I thought it was really interesting, and I think it might even help some of you guys kind of take some time to reflect and think if you're kind of in that page where you're trying to figure it out, or you just started college, at this point, maybe you're in your second month of the semester and you're still kind of figuring it out. But what she had shared.
Wait, can I pause you? I do want you to explain what is a vocation, because maybe people don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
vocation meaning like what you're meant to do in life, right? What is it that God wants you to do? What are your gifts, and what does life? What are you meant to do here while you are on earth? Mm-hmm. Good, thank you. But all right, so it's to kind of recap, because I don't want to take too much, and I know it was a lot to even like remember and to take in. But one of the things that she had mentioned was, if you really take some time to reflect and to think about your journey in life, getting into adulthood, going into college, whatever, if you really take the time to think, oftentimes the answers are there. Oftentimes God gives you signs and like hints of where to go. I think we just choose to ignore them, or we just choose not to think deeper into like what they mean or why they happen, or why do people keep saying I should do this, or why do people say like you do this or whatnot, like you do that. But the answers are there, like they are there, and you are guided in the way you are supposed to be guided, and going into the careers you need to do. Mm-hmm. And speaking on myself personally, I was really thinking about like my journey and where I'm at present day. And I was like, okay, I went to school for HR. I thought that was, and maybe still is in the future, I don't know. I thought that was what I was meant to do. I was meant to just go into corporate, hire, help the business, make people feel comfortable, etc. Like just be a resource for humans, literally HR, human resource. I went to school for it. Classes were interesting. I was talkative enough to do it, because I think that's the type of role where, especially nowadays, like they kind of want more of the bubbly, friendly people, because sometimes it can have a stigma of like the scary, bad people or HR. And I was like, oh, this is totally me. Like I finally found what I have to, like what I meant to do, what I have to do. Like this is my career. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life until I retire. Go finally get my first job in corporate. And it was not HR. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had just gotten my foot in the door, but I eventually got to HR and I was like, cool, like I'm here, I'm in it, like I'm going to be here now for the rest of my life. Well, as time progresses, I am not in HR. I am not in HR no more. I have moved into being an event coordinator. So I'm working more on that side, which is really different. It's really different going from like knowing like the laws and the benefits and like hiring people and like doing all of that to, hey, here's our budget. This is the theme we want. Like, let's make it happen. How can we create community? What can we bring? What can we give to our employees? And so it's very, very different, two sides of like the business. And is this what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life? I'm not sure yet, but I know that I'm brought here for a reason. And I know that I'm going to write it out and see and try to really reflect and see like, why am I here? And is this like what, you know, God wants me to do for the rest of my life? But as the sister had shared, like if you take some time to really think and look back at like, you know, what led you there, the signs are there. The comments, the signs, the things that I did, like they were there. I just chose to maybe ignore them or like just say, no, I'm going to school for HR. I'm just going to stick in HR. I say this because throughout my whole life, I've always brought community. Community and like events are just like my thing. Like when it comes to my friends, I am excited to be like, hey, let's do a party bus, or hey, let's have a beach day. Hey, let's go to a bar. Like let's, you know, especially now I'm really excited as I get married and I hopefully have my own little casita. Like I'm excited to just be like, hey, come over. Like we're going to do this. Like I enjoy doing that personally. That's a sign number one. I like it. Sign number two, despite me working in HR, despite me working in customer service when I was there for a while, even when I was in a sorority, I still somehow got those tasks onto my plate. Sometimes because people would tell me, like in my sorority, like, hey, we really would like you to take that position, like for you to be our social chair, for you to create these fundraisers and events and like get all the sisters and fraternities to come join. And then sometimes it would be me just like in customer service raising my hand and saying, how come we don't celebrate our birthdays here? Like, let's start celebrating. Or, hey, like so-and-so's getting married. Like, let's throw a bridal shower like here. So it often like it was either, again, people would tell me or I would just simply raise my hand and say, hey, let's do this. Sign number two, right? My last sign that I realize is, again, people share with me. People would tell me, and even when I was offered this position to go into this department, which was a completely new department at the time for my job, I was told, we see it in you. We would like you to consider. We're not forcing you to take it. You have every right to say, hey, no, I want to continue to stay in HR, but we think that you have gifts that you can bring to this department. It's really new. We don't know what it's going to look like in the future, but for right now, like we see that in you and we want you to consider and come and move to this department. And so I say all this because now that I'm in here, now that I'm experiencing it, now that I'm learning from it, now that I'm, you know, really just enjoying this chapter in this career, I realize that the answers were there all along. The signs, the directions, everything was there. I was just choosing to maybe, again, ignore them or maybe just, that's just a side fun thing that I like to do. But really, maybe this is where my gifts are meant to be. Maybe I am that person that I have that personality and I'm that person that can bring that community to our employees at work. Like, I love going in and getting called and say, hey, we have a baby shower coming up. Like, can you help? Heck yeah. Like, let's start. Like, what is she like? How do we do it? I like being that person where, hey, we have, $25 per person. We want to give them a sweet treat. What can we do? Oh my gosh, I know a small business that I would love to support, and that we can buy things from them and like give them to our employees, and like it's a win-win. Like, it's just naturally my thing. And so the point of this message in the story is just to share that, like, really take some time to reflect. If you are in a position, again, where you are thinking, what am I meant to do? Or who am I? I guess it kind of ties in with your message too. Remember who you are and reflect of like those little things that you do or that you're known for or that you like, and or experiences, moments where you could have maybe, or you're already doing it and you don't think much of it. And that'll kind of give you your answer of where you should go or why you're there, right? So that is my message for today.
Great message. I was telling Jazmine that actually one of our services kind of had a similar message of what are your gifts that God has given you, I guess, but his message wasn't really like, it was like, how can you use it for God type of thing. So, but it still poses the question of like, what are the gifts that have been given to you and like, how can you use them, And so I remember reflecting on my way home and like kind of speaking out loud and praying about it. And I was thinking there's the obvious gift of singing because it's like a talent. It's like, but so I really want to use that gift more and I need to make time for it. I've been saying that. Also, side note on your stuff, I was going to say that it's funny because if we look back at I think it was November or end of October last year, you were talking about that and how people kept telling you that it was crazy. It was like around this time, but last year. And you were like, no, like I need to rewatch that episode, but it's crazy. Like you can even see it then. This was a year ago of like people saying that in church. She was kind of like, nah, I'm like good where I'm at. Like people keep telling me to go and do like event planning and I'm good where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's interesting like seeing you now like doing event planning and loving it. And like it's different. Yeah. But I think it's like, I like that you have done so many different things so that you have a lot of different things under your belt too. That you could do HR and you could do event planning. Like you have, experience for both. Yeah. But back to what I was saying was like, I really do want to use my singing. I feel like my singing is very healing. I've sang for many funerals and, it was very healing for the family, at least that they have told me. I have sang for, children at princess birthday parties, like where I'm the princess and I'm there for them to sing for their birthday. And it's a gift from God. And I really want to become part of our church's worship team. That's something I really want to do. I've been just trying to grapple with like commitment because that is a huge commitment and I would have to wake up really early and I just have to make sure that if I'm in, I'm all in type of thing. Yeah. So that's one. My second one is another obvious one, teacher. And I was just thinking how like, yeah, I am a teacher, but teacher in all things, right? Like sometimes like I'll teach certain people in my life certain lessons or like of course I'm like a literal teacher, but I was talking to God about like how can I want to strengthen my skill in being a teacher for him, but just like recognizing that skill of being a teacher because it is a skill. Not everybody could teach. Not everybody has the patience. Not everyone just knows how to or has the personality to.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, the personality. Just because you don't have to be super bubbly and crazy like to be a teacher, but you do have to be a people person. You do have to be kind and compassionate and patient, and you have to as well know how to teach. You have to know what you're talking about. It's a lot of things, but teacher. And then I had one more, and I was trying to think of what I was telling him. But there was one more, but I think it's really good to reflect on your gifts and realize how you're using it in your life, if you are or if you're not. And like, how could you even amplify that gift? I feel like I'm using my teaching gift a lot, but you can always use it even more. I think my other gift that I said that I had was my personality. I was saying that a lot of people, I'm just gonna say people in general have told me that they've never met somebody like me. That like my friend was just telling me yesterday, she's like, when you tell me positive stuff, like I believe you. Like sometimes when people say positive things, she's like, I feel like they're just saying it because you're supposed to say that to somebody. She's like, but when you say it, like I believe you. She's like, you're like the most. She's like, you're like my biggest cheerleader. And I was like, hey, I was a cheerleader and I was a cheer coach. And she's like, no, yeah, you literally are a cheerleader, but for people in your life. So I think my biggest gift is my personality and sharing that with people, because I don't share it with everybody. I am reserved with some people. But yeah, so recognizing your gifts and how to uplift that, because sometimes I will see people low and I'll give them my energy, my happiness, and I know that's like a lot to give sometimes, but sometimes I see that somebody needs that energy and I will give it to them. And it sounds very weird. Like, how do you give energy? But I have done it before where I'm like, oh, they're a little low. Let me go sit with them and talk with them for a little bit. And just like kind of being that person in their life, even if they're not a close friend, like a coworker, like I do that sometimes.
I was just thinking about right now, you're talking about gifts. I'm talking about reflection, but somehow they kind of go hand in hand.
Wait, what? Did I miss it?
You're talking about what gifts do you have?
Yeah.
And how can you share it with the world?
Yeah.
Versus I'm talking about look back and see like where the things life is bringing to you or the signs to get you to your like vocation or your career.
Dang.
The path. But I think they're really hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because once you take some time to think about your gifts,
then you can think about like
possibilities and signs. In your case, I was evaluating you.
Oh,
right
really?
now. And you mentioned the gifts of singing, the gifts of teaching, and the gift of personality. Energy, giving your energy and your personality to people. I know, because I know Marilyn, and I'm sure if you really like sit down and like listen to our episodes and you get to know us like in that sort of way, I know that teaching was not like what you thought you were going to do for like your career, because you wanted to be a singer, and obviously, like I said, they're still we're so young. Like,
you could do it all.
You could do it all.
I could quit next year, become a singer.
Right. But in this case of where you're at in life, when you take some time to look back and reflect, you've pretty much stated your gifts. These are what I have. And like you said, teaching, not just like in a classroom, like you teach in general. You're here, you teach us messages on this podcast, everything. But also now you can kind of go back and reflect and be like, where are the moments where I've taught? And how that was kind of like a sign, like,
like this is my gift.
Yeah. Because you need that.
Like cheer coach. I was a teacher.
Right.
But I was really young.
The energy. As a professor that you are now, you need to come in and bring that energy. You cannot come into this room and just kind of
just
like,
stand there and just
stand
read.
there and like your students need 100% of you, and you give that to them regardless of how you're feeling. Maybe not every day you're like yeah, but at least you do come in ready to give in. And so those are all gifts and qualities that now make sense into like why you are where you're at and how like they played out throughout your life.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that when you said that, when I realized, I'm like, oh wait, I didn't really answer the the message part. But actually there were people throughout my life, just talking, because I'm not going to talk about all my gifts, but just the teaching one. When I was like 19 years old, people were telling me, I can see you being a teacher. Like, because I was before I worked at my first school, I worked at a K through 12 school, an elementary school, and my grandma was saying, like, I can see you being a teacher, like you should work at this school. And at the time I was working for Jersey Mike's, and I quit my job because that was a long story, but I ended up quitting my job because I had to. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just apply. I ended up doing some volunteer work, and then I got a position there. And then after that, like I started like meeting teachers, and they're like, are you sending me to be a teacher? And at the time I was just in community college, not knowing what the heck I was doing with my life. And they were like, you should be a teacher. Like totally. And of course I'm not a teacher, like K through 12 teacher, but they seen that quality within me. Like it was kind of like the spark was being let out. I was like, oh, I don't want to be a teacher. What the heck? Like, nah, I'm good. And I still agree with that with the K through 12 teacher. I would not want to be that. That's really hard. That's the Lord's work right there. But yeah, you're right. There was like little drops of like things, even like I remember I was sitting at a table and then they were talking about the problems within the children and how they were all bullying each other. It was really bad within the fifth graders, especially with the girls. And they're like, we need something like really good that unites them and stuff like that. And I was eating my yogurt and I looked at her and I was like, oh, I remember something that helped me in high school was I was in cheer. And like I just continued eating and they're like, do you want to be our cheer coach? And I was like, what? And and then that started literally my first group of students. It was like 10 of them. And although it was teaching them dance, essentially, it was still teaching. And I was 19 years old and I'm 26 now. And although I don't work in K through 12, it's still teaching as a professor, but just higher ed. And so it is crazy, you're right, of the little hints of like little things that are being said, like every time, like even when I was really little, my dad would nudge me at church, like, you should be up there. You should be up there. And I would never like say anything. I would be like, leave me alone. Like, I don't want to go up there, And then it wasn't until the last Thursday before work started, I went up to one of the people who sing on stage and I was like, how do you go up there? Like, how can I be up there with you? Mm-hmm. So I did put in the first step. I haven't made any other steps towards that, but I know one day I will do it because it's something that is in my heart that I want to do. So yeah, I love this message of just reflecting of like, kind of like, those little things, and maybe we're not even noticing things that people are saying now that are,
right.
Little messages.
Yeah, like exactly, like even like what you said, like to think that a year ago I was sharing on this podcast, like they're telling me, but like I don't know, and then like now I'm here. It's like those are little like hello, like they're telling you for a reason, like hello, you're doing this for like. It's just crazy to really think like the answers are there, or like looking back, like you were always meant to be guided onto that path for your career. It just, we just as humans choose to ignore it, choose to not really think much of it, or it's like, like what you said, like you're meant to be up there. You're like, yeah, like
that was years ago,
like, but it's like, people see it in us. You. God sends us those signs. Like you get pushed in situations for a reason. Like it's just you're on the path that's meant to be. And when you look back and reflect, or if even now you look back and you think about moments of those gifts that you see it, it's like it kind of just makes everything clearer. Like, oh, okay, I think I know where I should go, or I think I know where this is going. And it's just, I don't know. For me, it's just like crazy.
Before we end off, I do have two things. I want to take a guess for both of us of where our little hints are right now of something in the future. So I'm going to make a guess because we have this documented, which is so lovely.
Yeah.
My thing is I really do think I'm going to be like a dean one day, or like somebody like in administrative work, because people have been telling me that. Like literally one of my colleagues the other day, he was like asking about the doctoral program again. It's like, I'm not even freaking talking about it anymore. People are still talking to me about it. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm not doing it right now. Like, just giving him like the little, little conversation. And then he was like, we need people like you though in admin. He's like, he knows that I'm doing great as a professor, but he's like, but you need to be there. We need people like you in those positions, because those are the people that set up the professors. That the professors set up the students. So it's like he's like, we need you there, and it's just. And I've heard multiple other people. That's just the most recent conversation that has been had with me. But a lot of people have been telling me that, and so I wouldn't be shocked if in 5 years I was already a full-time professor, but I'm like, hey, a dean position opened up. Let me apply. I got it. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. And then for you, my guess is that because I see it in you, Anthony sees it in you, and maybe even more people that know her personally, I think you're going to thrive as a mother. I think you're going to be the mom that has like the soccer mom car, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. You're like, you have like the banners, you're like, whoa, yeah. Like, I feel like you're going to thrive as a mother. Like, you're going to be in your element. Like, that's something like I see for you in the future. Like, I can't see you being like a corporate girly, like your kids are like your side, you know, which is totally fine if that's you, because everyone is so different as parents. But I just see you putting them as your like forefront, like PTO. Like I can totally see you as like, oh, do you need help? Like popsicle fundraiser? Like let's do it. Like, oh, Girl Scouts, you want to do Girl Scouts? Like let's do. I could so see you as like the go mom, and I just love it because I know it's gonna happen maybe in 5 years, like I said with the Dean thing, and just like that's like my thing for you. That I see within you. And even Anthony, he's like, she's like a total like mom. You know what I mean? And like it's a positive thing. Like you're like just a mom of the group. Like you take care of people. Like, are you okay? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right in the sense of like this is not the mom. Well, maybe, but I don't know. I'm saying you're so right and like we're documenting this. So this is so like interesting to see. Like Marilyn always tells me this is something that our kids can see later, or that even we like when we're like 40 can be like, let's start from the beginning and let's see where, you know, what we thought or what life was like at that time. Well, you totally caught me off guard because I think this is a good question, and it's so funny because it's what this whole podcast is meant for. Like, take some time to reflect. Like, this is like, Jazmine, come on now, like reflect right now. But I don't know if I can answer it. I feel like it's really hard. I definitely can agree with you in terms of like Dean. I think education is definitely where you're at. And I can see it even going farther than just school, but still being in like education, but only because you have such passion for helping. And I think the passion that you also have is specifically helping those that are like people of color, lower income, breaking stigma. I feel like you're very, very big on that. Like you're huge on the like community college is not trash like it's said, or I know you've even mentioned it, like being Latina with a master's is like, so you're really big on that. So I definitely, that is why I see and I think you'll stay in the education field, because I feel like that is a challenge for you that you want to like A, break, and B, like help others break and be like, if I did it, you can too, or let me do what I can to help others get to there too. So I definitely do think you would stay in education. And then for myself, I don't know. I think for sure it would have to be still in community. I realize that is a gift of mine, and I realize that I enjoy it. I realize that I enjoy just bringing people together and making people feel comfortable and making people feel like welcome, loved, special, and just letting them know like I'm here, like I'm here. I want to celebrate you. I want to make you feel special. I want to invite you. I want to make it a community. So what I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah. I love it. Good episode. This is a
really great episode. I love this conversation. And if you want to comment down below about this topic, please use our comment section as your little journal prompt, and you can come back to it any year you want, because we're going to keep these up forever. So
thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you took some time to reflect.
Yes.
And if maybe you're driving, or maybe you don't have the time to reflect, or maybe you got caught off guard like me, where I was like, wait, what? A good thing to think about. This is good to just replay. Keep replaying this message. Come back and rewatch it. Maybe when you're in more of a calmer setting where you can really take your notebook out
or something. Oh yeah.
Or cook like something
where you're at home.
Therapeutic. Take some time to reflect, answer this question, and really, just reflect and grow. Let's grow, guys.
Yes.
Send this to someone if you think they need it. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
And above all else,
we wish you love.
Bye, friends.